Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to view Quantum Leap Season 2, Episodes 4 and 5. So, we have two firsts here, and so we go on into Episode 4, and we have Sam leaping into a female in 1961. Sam leaps into Samantha Sam Stormer. And in Episode 5, we of course have Sam leaping into a blind person, and we have Sam leaping into 1964 as Andrew Ross. So, in all honesty, I feel like both of these episodes are written almost identical or almost the same, but I feel there is just a little bit more interesting things going on in episode 5. Episode 4, it feels like both the episodes are written the same way, but 4 just feels so thin as far as, having Sam need to be tied to Gloria throughout that whole episode, and there really isn't much to kind of play around with. It's just like, hey, convince this girl that she should not be with this guy. That's really the whole story of that episode, to the point of the woman escalating Gloria and, wanting to take her own life because she's not going to be with this man. Whereas we have in episode 5, we have Sam leaping into Andrew, who is this pianist, and we of course have Sam that is desperately like, how am I going to go on and play another concert? I don't know if I can go on and just come up with music on the fly. And it's also really interesting that we find something interesting out about Sam, like some kind of hidden talent that he, of course, had. I'm like, well, good for him. It's good that we, of course, had Sam that seems to have this kind of more wider range of all these things that he is able to do. And so I thought that was interesting about this episode also, to find little kind of hidden talents of Sam. I thought that was really cool for episode 5. I also really liked Michelle's character, the person that gets tied to Andrew Ross in episode 5, and how she is to kind of be in between school and wanting to just kind of take care of Andrew. And we're not quite sure if both Andrew and Michelle are in love, but it seems that there is a possibility that that is really just there. So we also in episode 5 have this kind of interesting strangler story, and also we're referencing the Beatles in this episode, and so I thought that was really fun and really cool. A lot of stuff to play around with. Where again, episode 4, I think the most interesting thing about episode 4 is we have Sam, who is trying to do a lot of things for the first time, like put on heels, wearing these dresses, trying to go on and work in an environment that he is probably not really used to. And especially when going on in this certain time period where women are to be kind of treated like eye candy and not equals, is just it is what it is with this episode, for the time period and so on and so forth. But I like how Sam is just kind of decking guys, or Sam is really threatening certain men and say hey, if you go on and you talk to me again, I'm gonna punch you in the teeth. Shut up, don't talk to me. So I thought that these episodes were fun. We also have Al that is to have had to deal with Sam becoming a woman. And of course, Al, who is to be a womanizer, now having to realize that, oh my God, I'm seeing a woman consistently in front of me, and how Al is going to have to take 5 years of therapy to kind of work through the fact that at some point Sam is going to go on and leap into women at certain points, because we're trying to leap into everybody. We're trying to leap into all these different kind of races, all these different kind of people. I also really thought that they do a lot more things with Sam being a woman than they did Song being a woman in the Quantum Leap 2022. And also, I feel that like I actually liked Sam being a blind person in episode 5. Like, I feel that it would be interesting to see like how much further we can push like having a handicapped person be someone that either Song or Sam leaps into. And like I would really like to see how that plays out. And like I think those would be really fascinating episodes. So we'll see how that all kind of breaks down in further leaps. So with that said, let's go on and talk about these episodes individually. So Sam is to go on and leap into Samantha, and we are to go on and do this leap that is to have followed, or what should have followed, the tail end of season 1. But it seems that they went with different episodes, or maybe they weren't sure of the order. They just did all these episodes and not really thought about where to plop them down at, and that just kind of messed everything up. So, but I can understand those were really good episodes compared to these two. But anyways, so Sam is to leap into a woman that is trying to convince Gloria to trying to not be so attached to a guy named Buddy, who Samantha is going on being a secretary for, where it seems that Buddy is just wanting to get into so many women's dresses. That's all he really cares about, besides really caring about any one of these women's feelings, because he could fire them like that if he really wanted to, or have them like be gotten rid of. So the thing that I really like about this episode is that like Sam is to try as much as possible to convince Gloria that like she is to be making a big mistake here, but then also Samantha or Sam is trying to go on and get his like revenge at the end of this story. And so like I felt that that was also pretty good also. Then we go into episode 5. So episode 5, it seems that Sam has leapt into Andrew Ross, and Sam doesn't know if he can go on and play the piano, or how is he going to be able to. And come to find out, Sam is desperately looking for like sheet music or something like that, and Al's like, no, like the way that Andrew would play the piano would just be by him like hearing the music and then being able to play it on the piano. And Sam is like, great. Like even worse, like the guy doesn't even have sheet music. So, and of course that would make the most sense, kind of like how Beethoven would have to like put his piano onto the ground so he can kind of hear the notes and hear the sound and be able to like make and compose music, even though he couldn't exactly hear all that well. So we have Sam here that is meeting with an officer named Peter, and Peter is talking about how there of course is to be the Beatles in town, and how it seems he is dealing with so many of these strangler murders because another body had popped up. So we have Sam, who is getting assisted by Michelle, who seems to be in between going to school, assisting Sam, and also dealing with her mother, who I believe is Agnes. So Agnes is to go on and find out what Michelle is doing instead of going to school. And so Agnes is wanting to confront Andrew, and even go as far as stating that Andrew is to possibly be a fake, that he's not really blind, that Andrew just wants the help of a good woman, and like that's all that Andrew cares about. He's pretending to be blind. So all this comes to a head when Sam really does legitimately become blind in this episode, and he actually gets blind at the worst possible point. So I was like, good, like we actually have Sam being blind in this episode. And I get that that's kind of worse off for Sam, but still, like, I honestly think it would have been great if Sam would actually, through the whole episode, would have been legitimately blind. Like, that should have been the whole episode. And really just had Sam, who is going to have to adapt to become blind, having Al really go on and need to help him out throughout the whole episode. And really, that would have made both Sam and Al's relationship even stronger, and like it would have created really interesting episodes, or a really interesting episode. But we just have Sam, who can obviously see, to the point of him being able to read off this one dog box of treats, and so we'll get into the rest of this when we get into spoilers. I think it's about that time to just go into it anyways. Let's go into that double 5 time territory, because it's about that time yet again to, of course, go into spoiler time. Spoiler time. It's about that time you spoil these episodes. So, episode 4. Sam leaps into the tub, it seems. Sam is to leap into a woman who is in the tub, and I'm like, man, did this show quite a bit of skin in this movie. Not, of course, all the skin that we would want to see, but you know it gets pretty dang close for a show that is to be rated the way it is. So, Sam is in this tub, and we have Gloria that calls out to Sam, calling him Sam. And he's like, oh, I'm going to be my own name here? Wow, that's refreshing. So we have Gloria that is desperately in need of getting her dress kind of zipped up. And of course, we have both Samantha and Gloria who need that help throughout this episode. So I'm like, all right, like, this is really cool. I like this. Like, we're kind of going on and like giving like ways of which that this can easily just work out for characters and so on and so forth. So as far as like the whole like female storyline, so Gloria is stating to Samantha that she should probably get out of the tub soon, or otherwise she's going to get late for work, because both of them are coming into the same job. So Samantha then realizes, as she comes out of the tub and wipes the mirror, she realizes that she's a female. All of a sudden, Sam is realizing that he's not alone in the bathroom, and Al is right there like, ooh, la la, kind of thing. So Al is to realize that the woman that Sam has leaped into is very attractive, to the point of Al kind of seeing some bits and body pieces, and Al's like, oh my god, like, I don't know how I'm gonna, like how I'm gonna deal with this. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to help you in this leap, Sam, because, like, I think that you're really attractive. And so Al is to go on and kind of leap out of here. And so Al is to go on and seek therapy and need all of this help to be able to work through this problem. So even though Sam is convincing Al that like, well, hey, like, I'm not a woman, and Al's like, yeah, I get that, but like, still, like, you have the body parts for it. We also, weirdly enough, have, I think, Samantha, who in the waiting room is to be Sam. So in my brain, I'm thinking, I'm like, wasn't there certain times where in the waiting room certain people would just be themselves instead of Sam. I'm so confused. I'll have to see in the later seasons when we would get to see the waiting room a lot more. And also, like, why is it that in Quantum Leap 2022, how have we never gone on and had the waiting room being done in that show? Did they forget about that? Are they going to tie that in into later episodes? Or wouldn't it be interesting if they go on and use the waiting room? Because I do remember that being used in like certain later seasons episodes. Like I remember there was one where uh, Sam had leaped into like a vampire like character that I don't think was legitimately a vampire, but it seems that this other guy was to pretend he was. And there was one other time where Sam was to leap into this kind of like superhero guy that believed he was a superhero, so much so that he had his own like costume just kind of hidden away under his bed. From what I remember from this show, let me know. You can go on and correct me if those episodes are correct or not. I don't remember much about them. I do remember episode 6 a little bit, and I thought episode 6 is a really good episode. The whole DJ episode, I thought that I was like, ooh wow, like that seems really interesting. But let's get back into this episode. So Samantha or Sam is to have no makeup on and just be making Sam's way over to this bus by taking his high heels off and just kind of walking barefoot. I'm like, oh my god, yikes. I would never ever want to go on and really walk barefoot on a street or a driveway because oh my god, like I'm sure it's just hot and you would just be like, ah, wow. Yeah. Um, Plus, it's really uncomfortable. But so we have Sam making his way on this bus, and so both Gloria and Sam make it to work on time. So they go to work and come to find out Sam is supposedly the latest executive, and so I guess executive secretary. We come to find out. So Gloria is going on and finding that someone is to have gone on to gotten a promotion, and Gloria's like, "Well, hey, I didn't know that this guy was getting this promotion." So, come to find out, Gloria is swooning over a guy named Buddy, and Sam, of course, is to just be like, "Well, like okay, all right." So, Gloria leaves, and so we have Buddy, or no, we have Johnny, who comes over to Sam and is to really try and hit on him, and is to say, it's like, hey, call me John. And Sam is like, get away from me. Like, I will punch you if you do not get away from me, kind of thing. So Johnny's like, oh my god, all right. Like I guess that didn't work out. So to every time where Johnny does try and talk to Sam, Sam is like, if you talk to me, I will punch you in the throat. Or I will punch you in the teeth. So Johnny just kind of walks off. So Sam is to be told by Buddy to get a pen and pencil and write some notes down. So Samantha goes in there, and we really just have Buddy that's going on and hitting on Sam, and is to state like how attractive and all this stuff that Sam really is. And so Sam ends up stating it's like, well, like this is sexual harassment. And Buddy's like, well, I don't know what that is, but like, hey, maybe you and me go to dinner tonight and we'll talk about it. And Sam is like, no. So Buddy is laying it on thick, and Sam is to realize that this guy is just a hound dog, and all he wants is to get into women's dresses. So Sam leaves, and we have Buddy telling Sam, like, well, hey, like, how about you put some makeup on because you're representing this company and me. So Sam goes on and starts putting on lipstick, and as if I'm miming lipstick really well. That looks great, right? Uh, we have Sam going on and trying to like really like adjust to this life of being a woman. So again, Al has leaped into Sam. Even it gets really funny how like Sam wants to tell Al, it's like, you know what, we should put like a bell around your neck so that way I can tell when you're there. Which makes a lot of sense, because when really thinking about it, I don't know how many times Al would just kind of pop out of nowhere, and Sam was like, oh, there you are. So, like, I wish Sam would get some real notice when Al just kind of pops out of whatever. Like, you would think there would be some times where Sam would just get scared the crap out of by Al numerous times, and he would just pop all over the place, as if this would just be some horror show. But so we have Gloria who runs in the bathroom and is looking at Sam's like, oh my god, you smudged up your makeup here, let me help you. So Gloria is talking to Sam about what had happened between her and Buddy, and Sam mentions how like Buddy was like all over her and trying to get with her. And so Gloria is like, oh no, like my buddy wouldn't be that way. Like, if anything, like Buddy's gonna go on and leave his wife and divorce her and run off with me, and like that's what the plan is. And Al is telling Sam, it's like, no, it's not. Like, Gloria is going to at some point find out that Buddy will not go on and leave his wife because his wife is freaking rich. So Buddy instead is not going to be with Gloria. Gloria is going to go on to a high ledge somewhere and jump off and end her own life. So Sam, of course, is trying to convince Gloria that Buddy will never leave his wife, and Gloria is like, well, I think you're wrong, and so she walks off. She storms off, not believing her best friend over some Buddy guy. So we have Sam that goes out and buys these like hiker shoes, or these jogging shoes, because he is sick of wearing high heels. So after the long day of work, Sam goes on and brings like jogging shoes home. And so Sam is to just kind of plop on this couch. He's like, oh my god, I'm exhausted. Because of course we have Sam like the whole time like trying to sit down in these dresses and like trying to like be comfortable in all of these clothings that are just way too tight for him, obviously. I would feel like Sam would like sit down in all of these clothes and they would like rip, or they would bust, or they would whatever. They just would not, like, it seems like this stuff is really tight on Sam. I don't know why. I guess they couldn't figure out like the right dress equivalent, or maybe they're just like, no, like all this stuff really has to look tight, because like these are the dresses of the time, these are all the dress sizes we could get, yada yada yada. Like it could be any number of factors here, but or maybe they were just like, no, like Sam has really worked out, so just get him like the tightest freaking dresses that he'll wear. So we have Sam that is to sit on this couch, and Gloria's like, well, hey, what are you doing? And Sam's like, what do you mean? Gloria ends up stating that Buddy is coming over, and really Gloria wants Sam to just be a ghost, to disappear. So by the time that Sam kind of gets up from the couch after he's freaking exhausted, we all of a sudden have Buddy then arrive. And so Buddy is to all of a sudden be coming in with a dog. So we have Sam that is trying to go on and leave and say it's like, well, I guess I'll just go for a walk, or I guess I'll just go to a movie, like Gloria states. So Buddy is to try to dump off his dog with Sam, and hence why I was thinking, I'm like, we get a whole episode, the next episode, where Sam's with a dog, so it kind of makes a lot of sense here. So, like, I thought it was really funny when Sam is trying to talk to the dog, and the dog's like, and Sam's like, you even listening to me? You're not even looking right at me, dog. Come on. While Sam is just, like, kind of talking about his day. So Sam takes the dog and is like, God, like, I am such a third wheel here. So Gloria is going to make it up to Sam by having them double date later, because that's, of course, what Samantha wanted. And so we have Sam walking along with this dog, and so they kind of share a bench together. And so Sam is starting to talk to the dog, but the dog's not even looking at him. So we have both Gloria and Sam, that go on this double date. And we, of course, get to see Sam in the intro screen kind of attire that, of course, we see for, like, the rest of the season, and or for the rest of the show. Like, I think this image was kind of used very heavily, and I thought, like, obviously, yeah, like, Sam looks freaking, or Scott, like, a lot of praise to just Scott in these episodes. If I was to go on and state that, like, Sam wasn't the best guy for the job, we really have Scott putting out great performances in these episodes, regardless of how, like, thin the story is or whatever. I can complain about it for whatever reason. So, Scott goes on, or Sam goes on to do this double date, and we, of course, have Sam, who ends up with not the nicest guy, who, of course, is the Richard, who is going on to explain about his job and selling things and so on. And so we have Gloria, who doesn't seem all that interested, and we also have Parker, who's with Gloria, that is to state, it's like, well, yeah, I know it's kind of boring. And Sam's like, no, I think it's actually the very opposite, because, of course, Sam is very intrigued about what they're talking about. But again, we have Richard, who's laying it on really thick by putting moves on Sam, and Sam kind of gets to the point of just kind of smacking this guy's hand away, or even to the point to where Sam punches this guy in the face and he falls over. And when the guy gets back up, he's like, man, like, we've got some real fiery woman on our hands, Parker. So, there's one scene that I honestly need to get to that I realized that I forgot about, and we'll get to that right after this scene. So, we have Gloria that notices both Buddy and his wife at this restaurant. And so Gloria, who had been told by Buddy that Buddy had stated that he's divorcing his wife and going to leave her, we have Gloria, who goes on to talk to Buddy's wife and is to then say to, it's like, well, hey, like, I know that this is going to be hard on you and the kids, but, like, I think this is all for the best. And Buddy's wife was like, what are you talking about? And Gloria's like, oh, like, I'm with your husband right now, and, like, of course, we're just gonna kind of go together. And Buddy's wife, like, ha ha ha, well, I don't know what story that he has fed you. And I know both of us had gone on to have our own separate relationships and kind of gone our gone to do like things with other people, but like Buddy will never go on and leave me, because if he leaves me, I will go on and take everything from him up into getting his shorts. So Buddy's not going to leave me because he's not that stupid. So whatever story he has fed to you is not really the truth. So Gloria is distraught by that, and she, of course, is running off. And Sam had gone on to make his way to this phone booth to have it to where he can go on and talk to Al on this phone without looking like a crazy person. So that's, of course, where Al is to mention that he is seeking 5 years of therapy to kind of work through, like, Sam being a woman. So, and, like, Sam is telling Al, it's like, well, I'm not a woman. And Al's like, yeah, but you don't get it. So, now to go on and cover the scene of which that I had forgotten about. So at one point we have Buddy who is doing this presentation to this boss, who I believe is to be Ted Hartman. I believe might be the kind of the executive guy. I might be wrong about that. So we have this guy coming in and hearing this proposal from Buddy, and Buddy is to mention about like the gas that this car is going to have. And I think really the car is to just be like something visually pleasing, but isn't going to be very like efficient, isn't going to be something very effective. And we of course have Sam that is to really just poke through the fact that this car is not going to work via like how many miles to the gallon will it get, how many like this and that and that. So we really just have Sam starting to really poke through everything Buddy is saying, to the point of this like this guy that's hearing this proposal is like, like I'm liking this woman. Like this woman is not only beautiful but also intelligent. So so we have Buddy that tries to get rid of Sam by having Sam go on to get coffee. And when Sam is to want to have to make his way back, he's like, God, I hate this job. Like, I hate this. Like, I don't like this at all. And also, like, Sam is wearing these high heels, wearing these dresses. Everything about it is just, like, telling him, I don't like this sleep at all. This sleep sucks. So now we're back to the story where Sam is on the phone talking to Al, figuring out what's going on. And so Sam finds out from Al that Gloria will be taking her own life tonight. And so Sam is like, okay, I can figure out how to stop all this. So by the time that Sam makes it back to both Parker and both Richard, Parker is to mention that Gloria had ran off. And so Sam is like, well, where do you think that she went? So Parker is to tell her where she was to go. The thing that I really liked is when Parker, of course, was talking to Gloria and was stating how it's like, well, yeah, like I was such in a bad spiral, I was in such a bad mood, but Gloria, now that I'm with you, I feel so much better. Like I feel so much happier. And like I like that little part, like having the guy who's just kind of in this funk, but then really finding this one woman, and it kind of really changed his perspective, changed his life maybe. So Sam goes off to try to figure out where exactly Gloria is, and he finds Gloria on the sledge. So then Sam runs off to the building where Gloria is, and just kind of poke his head out the window, and is trying to convince Gloria to not jump. Really, Gloria is like, well, like, I'll never find another man, I'll never be happy. So Gloria had gone on to stay in the secretary job that she hates. so that way she could go and find a well suitor, a guy that'll be rich and she'll be happy. And Sam is just like, no, that shouldn't be the way that you should look at things. And also, like, if you jump off this ledge right now, like, you're going to make Buddy, like, have gotten to you. And is that what you really want? Do you want Buddy to feel that you giving up your life was to make Buddy feel good? Because it's like, oh, like, she gave up her life for me. Oh, like, I am that good of a man that she was to give up her life. And so Gloria realizes that that is not the decision that she wants. She wants to go on and get even, or to really just, like, state that it's like, no, like, I'm not gonna have Buddy win. Like, I want to go on and live and and kind of better my life, to not have to resort to be tied to a man like Buddy. So Sam is like, okay, good. Like, so now let's get off this ledge. So we all of a sudden start to see Gloria trying to get off the ledge, and all of a sudden the ledge starts to buckle piece by piece. And so Sam is now telling Gloria, it's like, well, hey, just climb over me. And Gloria's like, are you sure? And Sam is like, yes, just climb over me. So Gloria is grabbing on to Samantha, and Sam is just holding on to this pipe, and the pipe is starting to break. So Gloria luckily is to be able to get off this ledge and back into the window. And by the time Sam tries to go on and leave to get into the window himself, all of a sudden this pipe breaks off, and now Sam is trying to figure out a way to, like, kind of push himself off so he can get to the window and also get out of here also. So Sam and Gloria are back in their place, and we have both of them that are just kind of toweling themselves off, both in robes. So Sam is to tell Gloria, it's like, well, hey, like, if you hate being a secretary, why not be anything else? Why not go on and follow your dream? And Gloria's like, well, like, I want to design cars. And Sam is like, well, why don't you? Like, why don't you go on and do that? Like, if that's what your dream is, do your dream. So Gloria's like, well, I don't know, like, I just have an art degree, and, like, I really don't think that I can, like, really go on and get a job like this. And Sam was like, then go to school, do whatever you need to do. Like, figure out a way to get that job. Figure out a way to wow these people, and you'll get the job. So Sam goes on and talks to Al, and come to find out, Gloria ends up with Parker, the guy that she double dated with. And Al even mentions that both Samantha and Gloria are to get better jobs all for this and be inspired. And I was like, good, freaking good. Like, but so Sam is like, okay, I saved Gloria. Like, why have I not leaped yet? And so Al says to Sam, it's like, well, like, there is to be a really good chance that Ziggy doesn't want you to leap, because Ziggy wants you to get revenge for Buddy, or against Buddy, for Gloria. And Sam was like, okay, like, I'll definitely want to go on and get some revenge. So since Sam really knows, like, harassment and stuff like that, so Sam is going to try to pull off the ultimate harassment thing. So Sam ends up going into the office where he's wearing the skimpiest dress that he can find. And so Sam makes his way into Buddy's office. I'm like, yeah, you go, Sam. You go get him. So Sam goes into the office, and Sam is to be, like, on this desk, and is like, hey, Buddy, yeah, like, like, you know what? I think you were right all along. I think we really need to like just run away together, you and me, kind of thing. And so Buddy's like, well, finally. And so he like kind of loosens his tie and is to start to get on top of Sam. And we then finally have Sam who goes on and tells Buddy, it's like, well, like, but I have something to tell you, Buddy. Like, I'm a man. And so Buddy's like, wait a minute, what? And Sam's like, I'm a man. And Buddy's like, wait a minute, do you still have the the parts, or were you always? And so Sam is like, well, I know what it's like to have been kicked in the groin and have it be so painful, and like I know what it's like to do this and to do that, to shave and all of these things. And so Sam is to also mention, it's like, and I can show you how I throw, and I can also show you how I punch people. And so Sam knocks out Buddy, and he's on the ground. And so Sam takes off his high heels and is to take off his earrings, and he's like, okay, you can leap me out now. So we end up getting a harassment suit, and I'm assuming everything goes out all the better. So we then go on to, of course, have Sam in the following leap into leap into Andrew Ross. So we have all of a sudden Sam, who is kind of playing on the piano here as a miming piano, and Sam had just gone on to finish this concert, and so he's like, all right, like, hopefully that's it. So Sam gets up, and then he walks off, and everybody is desperately crying out for an encore, and Sam is like, like, I can't play, like, I don't know what I'm gonna play. So we have Sam that goes out there, or goes out of the stage, and we of course have Michelle that is stating, it's like, well, hey, they're desperately asking for an encore, you might as well give them one. And Sam is like, well, I don't know about that. So we have Sam that forcefully is back on stage, and so he's like, well, I guess I'll go on and like I'll do the only song that I know on piano, which of course ends up being Chopsticks. So Sam just starts doing, and so he ends up just doing Chopsticks, and it seems that people kind of laugh or kind of chuckle, but they ended up being happy with the encore performance. So Sam just kind of bows and leaves, and so we have both Sam and we have both Michelle that are walking off after the performance, and so we have the main thing here where Michelle is stating that to Andrew that she doesn't feel that it's quite time yet for Andrew to meet with her mother, Agnes. And so Michelle kisses Sam on the cheek and then walks to her home. So we have Sam go back to his place, and we have Sam was kind of walking with this dog. So we all of a sudden have Sam kind of looking into this mirror, and he realizes that he has leaped into a blind man. So all of a sudden we have Peter, this officer that I believe is living with Sam, not quite sure. But so we have Sam looking at Peter's badge, and is to recite this guy's name. It's like, well, luckily he had that badge or I wouldn't know who he is. So we go on to have Peter, who is talking about these performances and also talking about the Beatles because they're all coming up. And we also have Peter, who is talking about the Strangler because there is another body that appeared somewhere. and that like Peter has so much to deal with. So we have Peter that just kind of walks off. So we have Michelle that makes her way back home. And so Michelle's mother, Agnes, is immediately find out that Michelle is not studying for her classes, because Agnes is to tell Michelle, it's like, well, like, how is it that you've gone on and studied without your books? And Agnes is to kind of toss this book right in front of Michelle. It's like, you would have thought that I missed that now, didn't you? And so Michelle is like, well, yeah, I went on to go to this concert. And Agnes is like, well, like, if you're going to fail like college and like waste all this money like and just ruin your life, then like that's like that is what it is, but you're just kind of wasting money and wasting time. So we have, of course, Sam now desperately like needing Al, because it's like, yeah, like I don't know if I can play the piano. And so Al kind of comes in while Sam is kind of looking all over the place for sheet music. And Al's like, well, like Sam, the way that Andrew would go on and learn music is just by listening to it. And Sam's like, crap. So Al is stating that, like, well, yeah, like I'm sorry. So Sam is asking Al, it's like, well, like, is there a chance that I might leap out of here before the next concert? Like, there might be something that I need to just easily do that will help me quickly leap. And Al is like, no. Because come to find out, Sam is trying to prevent Michelle's death against this strangler guy. That, like, this was to kind of come off as, like, the Dennis Quaid movie Frequency to me. For some goofy reason. So Al is to go on and tell Sam, it's like, well, hey, we're going to figure something out. Like, don't you worry. So we have Sam that's like, okay, like, what am I going to freaking do? So we have Sam and we have Michelle going out to this diner. And we, of course, have Sam who realizes that his meal doesn't have mustard on it. Michelle's like, how did you know that there wasn't mustard on this? And Sam is like, well, I could smell it. We have convincing number of times where Sam is to, like, intelligently come up with the way of which that he can see these things, but also, like, explain them away. So Michelle's like, wow, that's great. So we have Sam that is talking to Michelle and is stating, it's like, well, hey, like, how about this concert? Like, you and I, we go out to dinner. And Michelle's like, I don't know, like, I don't think my mother would be happy if I go on. And Sam is like, please have dinner with me. So that way Michelle cannot have been strangled by this guy. And so Sam could be able to leap. So Michelle is just like, well, I think we can work something out. So we start to find out that Agnes is realizing that Sam is to be spending a lot of time with Michelle. So at one point we have Agnes who is following Sam around. So we get to a point where Sam with his dog is back in his place, and Sam is going on and reading this box of these dog treats, and Al, of course, ends up being there, and Al is trying to tell Sam, it's like, hey, Sam, like, there's someone else in the room. Come to find out, all of a sudden, Sam is to realize that Agnes is behind him, and Agnes is like, oh, like, so, like you're a very convincing blind person if you can go and read off of a box. And Sam then turns to Al, it's like, well, like, you should have told me she was here. And Al's like, well, I did tell you, Sam. And Agnes is like, well, yeah, like, of course I'm here. So Sam is talking to Agnes, and so Agnes is to use the fact that Sam could go on and possibly be a fake to be a bargaining chip for Sam to no longer be with Michelle. So we have Sam that it's like, but I need to be with her because I need to protect her. So we have Sam that is to go on and do this next concert. And I think before the concert, we have both Sam and we have both Michelle that are kind of making their way to the concert. And we have at one point where Sam is looking at this, like this newspaper, like vendor, and Sam starts talking about the newspaper vendor, and Michelle's like, how do you know that there's a newspaper vendor there? And Sam is like, well, I hear the rustling of newspapers, so it has to be like a newspaper vendor here. Michelle's like, wow, like your senses are just so attuned. Like I wish my senses were kind of attuned like that. I think Michelle says that during the whole the whole dinner thing, but still, like she says it somewhere. So Sam is to ask Michelle what time it is, and so Michelle ends up giving Sam his watch, and he's like, "Oh, it's only this time," and so Sam is like, "Okay, I have some time." So we have Sam that goes on to go to this concert. And so Sam is just like, oh crap, like, what am I gonna do? Like, little help, Al, where are you? So we have Al that comes in with this music stand and is to adjust this music stand to where it can go on hologrammingly through this piano. And come to find out when Al lets go of it, all of a sudden Sam can't see it. So Al has to continue to touch it and be like, come on, Sam. I can only just touch this thing for so long. I'm getting a little tired. So Sam starts playing this and he plays it really well. And we, of course, end up having to find out that Sam had gone on to play really well as a pianist to the point of him getting his own kind of success in Sam being a piano player. So we have Sam after this concert is done and over with. We, of course, have Sam who goes on to take his bow. And like, I think we even have a moment at some point where I think Sam grabs onto his dog, and like his dog is to push him out on stage before like Sam wants to go out on stage to start this concert because he's still waiting for Al, but then the dog kind of pushes him out on stage. So we even have at certain points where when Sam's not paying attention, the dog is to go on and save Sam's life from getting ran over by these cars, even to the point to have Peter coming in and is telling Sam, it's like, well, hey, like, it's a good thing you have that dog there because he just saved your life. And also, Peter mentions that, like, it's a good thing that you're blind because I would go on and give you a ticket for jaywalking. And so Sam makes this joke about Peter, like, being really smelly, and Peter is like, well, that's because, like, I'm with this horse. And Sam was like, oh, that makes sense, and he starts touching the horse. So we also had Peter that mentions another body was found of this strangler, and somebody should catch this guy. So while Sam was doing his concert, both Michelle and Agnes were arguing, having Michelle just kind of run off because she, of course, had gotten upset. So after the concert is over, we have Sam realize that Michelle had run off. So we, of course, have Sam who is using his dog, which is like, all right, like, this is great. We have Sam who is using the dog to try and track Michelle down because, of course, Sam is to also become blind himself by Sam trying to go on while all of these women are just going crazy over the Beatles. One of them is fainting. Sam catches one of them, and all of a sudden, when Sam turns, he ends up getting a photo flash within his eyes, and now Sam is blinded because he can't, he can just kind of see like these things kind of like in front of his eyes, and he has this blue light. We consistently keep showing this throughout the rest of the episode to confirm like how blind Sam is, and how at some point the vision is starting to get a little better, a little bit better, a little bit better over time. Sam is to rush to this fountain to try to water his eyes, that he hopes that maybe after kind of watering his eyes, this will help. And like still just not good enough. But because Sam can't go to a doctor, an eye doctor, because this guy will just state like, yeah, you're blind. There's nothing I can do. So Sam goes on to chase after Michelle with his dog. And God, like, the dog is a really cool name, but I can't really think of what it really is. Maybe it's actually on here somewhere. No. Why would it be? Normally there's sometimes where there is dogs in credits for some stuff, but I guess not this one. So, and I know it has some, like, musical name anyways, but it is what it is. So, let me know in the comments below what the name of the dog is, because I know it's something that is to be so significant, but not enough for me to remember. So, Sam has this dog, and it's like, hey, track her down for me, boy. So, the dog ends up finding Michelle and this strangler who is wearing this ski mask, and this guy keeps kind of having this like, it looks like pantyhose. It looks like he's grabbing pantyhose and he's kind of strangling this with her. So we go on and we have, of course, Michelle running from the ski masked man, and then Michelle ends up bumping into Peter, and she's like, "Oh my God, like this guy, like, he was coming after me." And Peter's like, "Oh, really?" And come to find out, Peter is the strangler. So Peter is to start to choke out Michelle, and the dog ends up coming in, is wrestling with Peter. And so Al is now telling Sam, like, hey, like, Peter dropped these handcuffs. Sam, go get him so you can cuff him. So Sam is needing to be told by Al where the cuffs are, and he's directing him. So Sam ends up grabbing the cuffs, cuffing Peter, and, like, thanking the dog for, like, just kind of saving Michelle, but also just kind of keeping this guy at bay. So Peter then goes on to get arrested, and now we have both Michelle, Agnes, and Sam, and I'm like, Michelle, you better go on and just put your foot down, just like, hey, I almost just died. Like, if I want to go on and spend the rest of my life with Andrew, that's what I'm going to frickin' want to do. Like, I could care less about college anymore. I just want to be with Andrew, and that's all that I want. And, like, Andrew is to make Michelle happy. So, but we have Sam and we have Michelle talking to Agnes. And so both Sam and Michelle convince Agnes that Sam is going to take care of Michelle. and Agnes is to even go on and put a lighter like right next to Sam's face, and Agnes is like, "Oh my god, you really are blind," and Sam is like, like, what do you think? Like, so, like, the perfect time for Agnes to, uh, like, have Sam really be blind, so, like, Agnes can pull this, this kind of flame in front of his face and not even realize it. So, there is this one funny line where Sam goes on, and he says, like, "Yes, mama." Like, the way he just said that just kind of cracked me up for whatever bizarre reason, because like the way he just says it is like, "Yes, mama." It's like, okay, that seemed like a weird line delivery. But so, but we have Agnes who gives in to both Michelle and Andrew, and so, but Agnes plays it off as this way, because Sam convinces Agnes that like Agnes's love is just smothering, and Agnes really needs to go on and let Michelle just be Michelle. And Agnes is like, well, yeah, like I've taken care of Michelle for long enough. Like I want someone else to like have that cross to bear, or to uh like pull her weight now. Like it's so like that's gonna obviously be you. And Andrew's like, yes, mama. And so, like, both Michelle and Andrew are in agreement that, like, they're going to be best for one another, and maybe they'll get married or have babies or whatever. Not quite sure. Al doesn't go on and give us the whole, like, thing of this. So, because also Sam was like, well, hey, like, since I got, like, Michelle saved, like, why am I still here? And Al's like, well, you obviously have to go on. And like, yeah, you saved Michelle, but you didn't really save her. So Sam is just like, okay, then. So I'm going to talk to Agnes, and like, we're going to work something out. And so they end up kind of working it out, and then Sam leaps. So the next thing we end up having, of course, Sam do is he, of course, is to leap into 1959. We, of course, have Sam leaping into Chick Howell. And so Sam is going on to have this like record kind of going, and it seems that now Sam has to go on and find his DJ voice. And we, of course, have Rachel Porter, who is played by Patricia Richardson, who a lot of people probably know her as Jill from Home Improvement. I was like, yeah, like I remember this episode. This episode was actually really good, where it seemed that, like at first, like both Sam and Rachel were kind of like at odds with one another, where it seemed that Sam was trying to go on and figure out a way to help out this radio station that I think is to go on and not be doing the best of business, I think, is from what I remember from this episode. And Sam just somehow just figures out a way to turn this around, and is to really showcase a really good DJ skill. And like it seems that things are going to go well for this radio station, but then by the end of it we have like Sam and Rachel that are going to have to really go on and try to protect one another, as there's just a number of problems that end up arising here. And so, yeah. So, I really like episode 6. It is a good episode from what barely I can remember. But once I go in to really watch the episode via the following time that I can do so, like, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, like, I remember a lot more about this story. Like, I just can't remember it now. Because, of course, with 2 episodes already into my brain, there's only so much that I can retain from a lot of stuff. But it's also very surprising what I go on and I can remember about a number of just random Quantum Leap shows. Like the one episode where I think at some point Sam becomes somewhat of a vampire, or this kind of pagan ritual guy. there's to be the one episode where Sam is to be the superhero and he has his own like superhero attire. And when Al goes on and talks to the superhero guy, is to mention like what his like creed is and what he lives by and so on and so forth. We also have Sam that goes on and is, I think at some point he leaps into like a pregnant woman at some leap. I know there's one episode where like Sam also leaps into this mother who has a bunch of kids, and I think something happens to her kids where I think either her or her kids get kidnapped, and then Sam luckily has these like karate skills, and Sam goes on and is to just start as this woman like start to like just knock out all these guys. And I was like, yeah, like luckily this mom had taken like a couple years of karate. Just creatively writing it in this story. So yeah, so let me know in the comments below any hopefully interesting episodes that you might remember of Quantum Leap. Because at some point, hopefully, I might be able to cover those, even if it is the current iteration of Quantum Leap. Maybe you had a favorite episode from the current one rather than the original. But kind of also when waiting for the current Quantum Leap to get back on track, we are also going to just start going through these old Quantum Leap episodes whenever I can go on and not have some kind of something that I need to cover, or something that I feel that I'm like, I need to do this today, I need to cover this now. Or really, there's just certain times where I'm just like exhausted, sick, or technical reasons. Like, I apologize. But otherwise, I'm going to try the best I can to get to these whenever I can get to them. So, with that said, goodbye, everybody. Bye, everybody.